What's up, guys? Hope you are doing well. Let's get into the watch list video here um, and get into what we're watching this week. So let's start with the NASDAQ. First things first, we had talked about this for a while. What we're looking at here, you can see we printed some buy signals earlier in the past couple weeks, and then now we finally had that takeoff and finally broke out to the upside. So we had a nice breakout here. And let's see if we can continue this rally. We do have a weekly squeeze as well that is trying to move upside. So we want to pay attention to that because we could see some further upside. And that's really starting to show up as a theme between the indexes. So YM has this little cup and handle thing with a weekly squeeze. Um, Nice little flag here, cup and handle. This is probably one of the better looking charts. It is not the relative strength name, like the NASDAQ is outperforming the S&P, but you can see here we're starting to tighten up and price is starting to look pretty tight here. So we may want to pay attention to the banks. I know that XLI is starting to set up a little bit as well. I would say even the Dow looks better than this one, but this has a weekly squeeze as well. If we look at XLF as well, that one's a little more extended, but chart still looks good. Um, it's just forming a weekly squeeze now. So similar pattern as the Dow. It looks like it's just having a little more relative strength hanging out right near that all-time high. So if we go into the NASDAQ, we discussed a little bit, so we can take a look at XLK. XLK is looking pretty good. Definitely NASDAQ is looking a bit better. You can see we got this clear resistance here that we keep knocking up against and can't break through, but this also has a weekly squeeze. So um, I'm not going to fight the signals. I'm a little skeptical that we will have a really strong breakout. I do think we'll make new all-time highs, like I've been saying. I think we, I've been saying that for a few months now, or since the beginning of this month. And I'm thinking that we may get a breakout to new all-time highs, and I don't know how far we're going to continue from there. Um, and reason being is because, well, we can take a look at SPY for a second. SPY made a new all-time high. I'm thinking the NASDAQ can as well. DIA looking good. But the reason why I'm a little skeptical of this rally is because, well, Apple is performing pretty well. Apple looks pretty good here. Um, and starting to recover. Nvidia is starting to recover a little bit. Um, Microsoft is lagging. Google not looking so good. Um, ABGO looks fine, but that's not one of the main components, right? It's really these five up there that are the kind of main components. So Meta kind of flat or Amazon flagging. I mean, it looks like a similar setup here. It continues to do that stair or the push up, sideways consolidation, push up. We'll see if it can hold this 50, but the market is actually starting to turn around a bit, but I just think that we'll have to see. This is going to be a very important week because although these charts don't look very good, we could see some follow through. If we can see follow through on these names and start to kind of break out, then we'll see the markets continue higher, but the market's going to have a hard time if it doesn't have the NASDAQ have these key names pushing up. So Amazon does look the best. I think the most potential here, though, is probably Apple in terms of these mega cap names. You can see this double bottom that I have drawn out. You can see we had this higher low print, and we could see a breakout here. It looks like we had this move up and it breakout and it failed and then tried to come back up and now it's printing a weekly buy signal. So we may want to look at adding in position here, maybe some shares and trading it long into new all-time highs. So that's a potential if the market wants to continue to break out. It did reclaim its 50. Notice when we came below it, we rejected, came back down, got back above it, came back down. But now we are reclaiming it. If we can hold it, we've got this weekly buy signal that can act as a trigger. I think it'd be a really nice entry right around that 240, really this 237.50 area. NVIDIA could have a nice trade here. We could see a breakout. We just got to pay attention and watch out for it. Um, it could recover, but we got earnings, so don't put too much weight on that one. I won't be touching uh, Microsoft here. This just does not look good at all. Uh, Probably the best of the Mag 7 would be your Amazon. So Amazon looks really good. I think that we could see a pretty nice breakout in this one, or breakout if the NASDAQ continues. But right now, it's just kind of like, The only thing that has a signal right now is Apple on the weekly, and it is in the buy zone. So I do like that a lot. Let's see here. So Meta, nice breakout. Um, Tesla came back to its weekly 21 and got bought up. So any long-term people, that might be a place to look to enter the position. We had a really nice monthly chart that gave us a huge run up. Just and then you can see TSM. TSM does not look good. It's losing its 50. It can be as simple as starting to compare these scores down here. So you can see a 55 on Netflix. That's clear outperformer. A 50 on Meta. A 49 on Apple. And 34 on NVIDIA. So, but then you can go and see it like, let's see. So pretty neutral here, sitting at the 50 on Amazon. But then if we go look at Microsoft, we're bearish, -29. So we want to stay away from this name. It could bounce back into that 21 EMA, but I'd rather just avoid this for now. Okay, so that's kind of the markets. We'll believe the breakout as long as it stays true, right? It is a nice pattern here. I do like the pattern that it's showing, creating higher lows, and we've got buy signals, and then it was just a clean move from there. But if we go to watch list, so a few things that I'm watching are so this one, we can take a look at the fundamentals real quick. Earnings, the earnings, they don't have enough information here. So they just don't have enough. This is an early IPO. Here's the reason why I'm looking at it. We had the stage 1 base. Now we're looking like we're going to move into stage 2. We had this nice run up on high volume, and then notice we had this big volume, then volume kind of fell off, and now we're trading sideways, and the pattern is just getting tighter and tighter, and you can see we may see a breakout here soon. We're getting some slingshot signals, so I am looking for, okay, we're at the 21. If we stay above the 50 at essentially 230, we could see a really nice breakout on this one, back up to $5. We're about 50% off this move up from that high. So don't love that, but gotta respect the pattern. We don't really have any supply other than this area here. So if we break through that supply, we should be able to see a pretty swift push to the upside. Fubu. So this one potentially moving in, looks like we are starting to move into stage 2. It's pretty early though. You can see here we had this base where we basically were trading around $1. We broke out above this range here that we put in. And so I'm looking for, can we break out of this or hold this? And after this, I believe it was I don't know what this news was, but we did have this huge move up, and then now we're trading sideways. So I'm looking for, we're holding the 21. all low volume. So I'll be teaching this in the mentorship here soon, or I believe it's next class. But you can see these light blue colors. That means we're showing really low volume. So what that means is the stock is really quieting up after this big run up. So you can see we had this big run up and then we pull back to the 21. Now we're just trading on low volume. So if this can get some volume coming in, we should see a nice breakout to the upside on this um, proceeding because it is holding this gap up. So that's a very bullish sign. And yeah, you can see that volume spike there was the biggest we've seen since the inception of this uh, the stock. So that's bullish. Okay, so then we've got ACHR. This one, similar story. We're trying to break out, and you can see we've been building higher lows and starting to break out. We've got earnings coming up on the 27th. We broke out on some volume. We've got buy signals. So I'd be looking to play this one long and look for the breakout. We did have a nice run up on big volume. Then same thing, big volume run up. Now we're trading sideways. And yeah, we're trading sideways and now low volume and now volume starting to pick up as we're pushing higher. So bullish sign as well. NTRA, so this one, good looking chart. I think that we could see a run into earnings. You can see where we had this gap up, we had this move up on high volume. Now I've been trading sideways. We had some high volume on Monday or Friday, and you can see we're continuing to tighten up and getting closer to the breakout point. So we want to keep an eye on this. We're continuing to build higher lows. So let's look out for, okay, maybe we get a breakout of 180 and get a breakout before this earnings report. Last one, we had a big surprise. One before that, we had a big surprise. One before that, we had a big surprise. So expectations could be pretty high on this one. So it might be worth just buying some shares and looking for this to break out before earnings. So let's keep an eye on that one. IREN. So this one, you can see it kind of changed course. So we had this first, we have this big cup and handle pattern forming. Okay. Then after that, what happened was is we had this move down. We traded sideways a little bit, tried to break out, failed. So the first breakout failed. Then we undercut this low, and then we came back up. Buyer stepped in, and then what happened? We found the 200 as support here, and then what happened? We gapped down here, undercut the lows, and shook some people out, and then we actually caught. So that was a lot of the thought process behind that when I traded this a couple weeks ago, and we caught 70% overnight. So this right here is a very bullish sign. So you can see we had a high volume bar there, and then above average volume bar there, and then another above average volume bar there. And then Friday, we had that daily squeeze fire off. So I am looking for this to push up to the upside. We have weekly buy signals. We're moving out of stage one into stage two. So this one is a very solid chart. So I am looking for a potential move back up to this high. And we did have a really solid earnings report. Look at that beat. So that's another one. ARC G. This one, it's pretty early, but what I'm looking for is, are we going to get a breakout of stage one into stage two and a longer term swing idea? You can see this range very clearly, and all the moving averages are starting to turn up. We've had the 50 cross the 200, which has yet to, well, it happened back here for a moment. I'm looking for, can it hold this time? And so we broke out on huge volume, and looks like it was 200% above average and was a really nice breakout to the upside. So I'm looking for continuation in this name. ARC also broke out off of the buy signals that we had here. So we had nice buy signals here that took us out of stage one. Then we had buy signals here, which got us into our first continuation on stage two. So ARC is also one to watch because you can see we came here with stage one. We broke out into stage two. Now we're at stage three, and then that was a sell-off, and then now we've got stage one, and then now we're moving into stage two. So look for continuation in kind of those high growth names. So HYG, this is basically junk bonds, as a lot of people like to call it. Got to pay attention to this chart because you can see these buy signals here played out pretty nicely to the upside. So maybe these buy signals here will play out nicely. So um, that's what I'm looking for. We've kind of came up to that 200 and lost it. This is not something I normally trade, so I probably won't even trade it. But this is something that I'm paying attention to, and just keeping an eye on. And then last one I'll give to you, when we went over Apple, Bank of America. So this one is continuing to print higher lows and price action's getting tighter. I'm looking, so if the Dow can break out, this should break out as well. How did the earnings do? Decent beat. So what I'm looking for is, can we continue this rally upside? And it looks like we've got resistance here at 50 and then 55, and then we're at all-time high. So we're about 20% away from all-time highs. But this chart does look bullish, and it looks like, so we had this push up, this push up on high volume. We pulled back on low volume. Then we pushed up again on high volume. So let's look for, can we break out again? I think this one is worth keeping on your radar, and I probably should move that one up here and this one down here. And then last one, XLU. So this is a sector ETF of utilities. So this one, we broke out of all-time highs, and now we came down, retested the all-time highs, and now we're printing a weekly slingshot signal. So momentum is shifting early. It is an early shift, but we're right in the buy zone. Pretty good potential for us to move higher. So just keep an eye on that. What I'll likely do is, if I'm gonna decide to trade this, we can see here we kind of did this action here, traded sideways, sweep that high, came down, then looked like we were going to bounce, swept those lows. And then, so from there, then we pushed up on big volume. So then what I'm looking for is, okay, we pulled back. Now the 21's crossed over the 50 right here. And we've got momentum starting to shift here. And so I'm looking for, and all this has kind of been done on low volume. So I want to see if we can continue to print higher lows and maybe pull back, print a higher low, print a signal in here, and then we can take it to the upside off that weekly squeeze. So that's kind of everything I'm looking for. That's the main charts I'm paying attention to. And I hope this helps. Thank you guys for watching. And these momentum stocks here that I have posted up in here, this came off the daily squeeze scan, or the scan that comes with the indicator when you purchase it. But these came with, or I found on the relative or the momentum scan, which I'm going to be going over in the mentorship, and I'll be giving you guys that scan to use as well during the class. So I hope this helps. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.